Hello and welcome to episode 33 of the Yarnflakes Podcast. My name is Audrey and this is a podcast mainly about knitting, but also some weaving, cross-stitch, yarn dyeing and spinning, and any kind of fiber crafts. Welcome! If you are a new viewer, I noticed there was, again, quite a bunch of new people around here, so thank you very much for subscribing and welcome. I hope you enjoy the podcast. As usual, timestamps to different sections of the podcast will be in the description down below. This week I have quite a bunch of knitting to share, some cross-stitch, just a teeny tiny bit, and some beautiful book review, and a little bit of a yarn show towards the end. Links to everything that I talk about will be in the description down below, as well as links to my social media, Etsy shop, and little announcement to begin. You will find the link to my beautiful brand new sock pattern. The card sock are now available on Ravelry. If you want to learn more about this design and what it's all about, you can check last week's episode. I shared more about the process and some details about these socks. That's the little announcement out of the way. You may have noticed that I am at a weird angle. I decided to not even try fighting with my tripod, so my phone is on a pile of books. So yeah, that's how we're going to do it this week, because I don't have time nor the mental energy to deal with this today. Yes, I decided to do it like this right away because I don't have the time nor the energy to deal with this. As you can tell, my hair is wet. Everything is a mess today. I have some work to do dyeing wise. I have to fight with my red dye because I had to change my red dye and it seems like it is a pain bleeding wise, so I kind of have to work on that. If possible. So let's start right away with the knitting content. I have a couple of finished objects to share with you. The first ones are, I believe I cast them on like later last week, so you never actually saw them. Let me put them on. It's the Antler Mitts by Tin Can Knits. I wanted to have a set of hat and mittens for this winter because I'm going away next week. I will talk about it later next week. So yeah, I already had the hat and I was able to do the mittens. So these are really simple, easy to do DK/worsted mittens with this beautiful antler cable. I really like Tin Can Knits pattern. They're always ridiculously simple and quick to do. Yeah, I like them. I am just not so convinced. So there's a purl row around the cable pattern, and the thing is, in the thumb area, I didn't do a very clean job tension wise, maybe, so it kind of looks odd depending on how the mitten sits. But yeah, I used Cascade 220, the super wash version, which means that it got a bit extended, but still reasonable. They're the perfect size. I think I did a small adult size. And since I have a black pom-pom on my hat, I wanted to make a line of black around here. So this is just some Cascade Heritage that I had. It's the only black yarn I had left. and I cast on with it, holding it double, knit 1 row of ribbing, and then I switched to the white, and I didn't want the ugly pole bumps, you know, when you switch color in ribbing. So I knit 1 row, and then I continued with my knit 1 per 1, pull 1 ribbing. So yeah, mittens, they're nice. So yeah, like I said, superwash, which is convenient in case of wetness, snow and stuff. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. They were super quick to make. I made them in a day, I guess. Yeah. And they're nice and getting blown out, but yeah, you can see the pattern. And I have my equipment for the winter. The next finished object I want to share with you is a pair of socks. If you remember, I was knitting yet another pair of Christmas socks. Well, not Christmas socks, but socks for Christmas for my mother out of this Drops Fabel Print. And they're done. So they're shorter socks, like I said. And I did German short row heel and a rounded toe in a contrast white. And I really like this print. I have loads of it left. I only used about 40 grams of the Drops Fable, so I'll definitely have enough for another pair. But I really like how they knit up, and as you see, they're completely not matching, but the shade is so muted and... Do you say harmonious? Is that a... Say harmony, but what's the adjective for it? Is harmonious an adjective? Harmonic? You know what I mean. They're obviously a pair, and it's not really troubling me that they're not identical. So yeah, I did quite a poor job with my German short rows. I don't know what's up with me with the short rows these days, but they're very visible. I never know if I'm pulling too tight or not tight enough, so I guess like on this side is very nice, but on this one it's a little bit more open. It's not wholly there's no holes, so at least there's that. But yeah, simple vanilla socks. I'm being quite speedy. I have to go and make lunch, so that is why. I have some works in progress to share with you. The first one is my pavement sweater that I'm knitting out of Malabrigo sock in the Pocion colorway, and I finished the body. There is the body. So I'll get on with the sleeves as soon as I can, because I would like to have it finished before I leave, but I don't think that's gonna be a thing. So yeah, short rows for the front and the back, because as you can see, it's a curved kinda hem with the front and the back being longer. So you basically do short rows along each side, like you have 4 sets of short rows. The wraps and turns, to be honest, I don't think that my German short rows look any better than my wraps and turn when it's loose gauge. And in a way I'm lucky, because the short rows happens just above the hem, so you actually, it's not that visible because there's a garter hem right away, but you can still see that there's like holes and stuff. Like this is very visible. Do you see these 4 here? It's not bothering me that much, plus I have good faith that blocking will smooth everything out, and yeah, like I said, it blends in the garter, so it's okay. But still, if you have any ideas on what short rows look best for a sweater, because you usually use a looser gauge, or a way to make it not look awful, because really there are really some spots where it's really bad, and still the pattern has you add stitches, one every short row. For those of you who will have knitted, you will understand. So you make the short rows, and when you resolve them, one every short row stitch, wrapped stitch, you make one, which kind of fills the gap, but that means that when there is not that make one, you have a very visible hole. So I guess it's better than nothing, but it still looks a bit wonky in some areas. My hem is flipping a little bit, but I mean it's wide enough. The pattern says to make it 5 centimeters. I might have like 3 or 4. I thought it was really big enough already. I didn't want to have a odd, really wide hem. So, but I think it will definitely sit flat after blocking. And it doesn't bother me that much. I really like the curve though. I think it's really nice, and I wish there was a way to do that didn't involve wonky looking short rows, but you know. So yeah, I'll just have to pick up the sleeves. I tried it on obviously, and it fits really well with like a reasonable amount of ease. It's still flattering. And yeah, I can't wait to have the sleeves. I'm gonna make them as long as I can. I have 1 full skein left and a bunch of scraps from the 2 other skeins, so I definitely have enough to make the sleeves go. Like, if I'm showing if I'm showing that way, you can't see anything. To make like the sleeves go, I would like them to go way past my elbow and to reach like the middle of my forearm. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful color. Yeah, I would like my boyfriend to look at this, because every time I show it to him, he just sees it black. So he's like, yeah, it's very dark. I keep being amazed at the color and be like, oh look, it's so pretty. But he's like, oh, yeah, it's very dark, it looks black. No, it's not black, look. Do you see now? Do you see? I know you're watching this when you're working. Just stop working for a second and look at it. Okay, I guess I can show you my boho blush. I haven't done much work on it because I've been focusing on other things, like the mittens and finishing the socks and everything. But I did do another... Where's the right side? I did do another brioche round, so I now have my 2 brioche rounds, and this time I did it right. I didn't have any stitch counts issues, and I was able to see much better what I was supposed to do at the edge. So yeah, I'm back on track with my brioche. I am on the garter section, and then I believe I have another lace, and then some more garter, and maybe a 3rd brioche stripe, I think. But yeah, I already have 300 and something stitches on the needles, and you go until 500. So you see it's all scrunched up, and the rows are taking a while, even though when you look at it, I have done most of the shawl. Some car passing slowly. They're weird. I did quite a bunch of it. I did more than half of the sections, that for sure. There are 11 sections. maybe I'm at the 7th section. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, I'm at the 7th section. Wow, that was good. Out of 11, so I really like it. Yeah, I'm gonna be sad to let it unfinished over the holidays, because I'll be going away for almost 3 weeks, and I probably won't have it finished, and I will come back to it in the new year. A bunch of my knitting time last weekend has been taken by something I unfortunately cannot show you. I'm test knitting something for a publication. It's going okay. I'm being the petty, annoying test knitter, pointing out lots of stuff that I'm confused about. So hey, that's me. When I test knit something, I like to just really put my brain in. I follow the instruction. I am stupid mode, just so that, you know, I have knit a ton of socks in the last year, and I guess even if the patterns was a bit wonky, I could probably figure it out, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to figure anything out, because I want the pattern to be great and to help and to be a decent test knitter. So that's why I act stupid. And I hope people don't hate me too much for it. Yeah, I just wanted to show you the yarn I was using, which is this beautiful petrol blue-green tonal sock yarn. It's a Smoothie Thock by Artist's Palette, which is a UK-based dyer. And it's beautiful, and it's really catching the light and making like a really nice shimmer. Not shimmer, sheen. You see what I mean? It's catching the light in a beautiful way. So yeah, I hope that I will not forget to share the project when the publication will be out, which should be early next year, from what I understood. And I have another pair of socks to share with you. I cast on, which is going to be my last Christmas gift knitting for this year. This is for my sister. It's a pair of socks, and I already have one done. So this is some yarn I hand dyed myself when I was testing out different techniques and stuff. So it's a blue with specks of light grey and gold, yellow. Have a problem with IKEA-like colorway, I know. And I didn't want to do just vanilla socks, because I've done quite a few very simple socks lately and I'm getting quite bored of it. So I did a Pebbles sock, which is a pattern by Minna Philip, and I really like the texture it's giving, and I think that texture would be really cool as on a detail on a sweater. It's really simple. It's ridiculously simple to do, but it gives like that ridged effect, and I really like how it looks. So yeah, I have one done, and I started the calf last night for the second one, and I'm ready to start knitting the leg. So yeah, I really need to finish that and to finish the test knit, hopefully by the end of the week. I hope so. That's my goal. So I think I will refrain from working on the boho blush and the pavement sleeves, just so that I could get that done. Because I know if I just stop being distracted, I can finish it pretty quickly. So I'll try to do that. I can show you the cake, I guess. Ugly lumpy cake. That's quite good actually. I didn't have any yarn barf happening because I caked it so loosely. Yeah, Christmas socks from my sister. I don't know if she will like them. I just didn't have enough time nor will to make her I had the intention of making her a black shawl maybe, but you know, black, but a one skein shawl. I think that could be an idea for next year, maybe. That's all the knitting content I have. I wanted to show you the progress on my little Bimeo cross stitch, because I haven't shown it to you in a while, and I did quite some visible progress for once. Here it is. So I just have this part of the body to fill in with that color, and then I will just put the buttons in all the different fan, teal, greens, pink, white thing. So this is a pattern by Stitchering on Etsy, and it's a little Bimeo. And guess what? I made a mistake. And I made it at the very beginning, but I couldn't realize. There's one extra stitch in the face. So basically what that means is that when I was placing these buttons, I realized there was an extra column here. And so I was like, what did I do? And so if you remember, I started with the face. So at the very beginning I managed to put down an extra stitch. You can't tell. I fudged it. I let it be around here, and it just makes an extra column at the bottom. But yeah, you can't tell. Only I will know. So yeah, I just have to keep on with that color. It's quite dull, to be honest, just working with that color. So I'm quite urging to get to the fun color part. Here is the back of it. Still pretty neat, except here I was extremely lazy and I just went over 4 stitches. But to be honest, it would have looked worse, I believe, to have yet again another start and finish of a thread rather than just having that one thread going there. But it's really flat and secured, and that's nice. Okay, so I want to share a new knitting book that I have received lately. So you probably know of the designer Marie Wallin, which is a designer very well known for her feral and lacy patterns. You know, when I first got on Ravelry, there was a few designers that kept coming back. You know, when you keep browsing the patterns and you open a new tab on those you like, and then you realize that they're all the same designer, because obviously. And Marie Wallin was one of them. I have been eyeing her patterns for a very long time. It doesn't help that the model that she uses a lot, whose name is Georgia, I believe, is absolutely gorgeous. So I kept looking at her patterns, and I saw that she released this book recently, which is called Shetland, which is a collection of feral patterns made with spindrift, which is, I don't want to get it right, because you know there's Jemisin's and yeah, Jemisin's of Shetland, so Jemisin's spindrift, which is not Jemisin's and Smith, because there are 2 different brands with a very similar name, just to confuse us all. So yeah, you know the famous spindrift yarn, Shetland yarn with like 3,000 color. And there's a few patterns on that book that I had my eyes on. I was like, oh, that's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. But I actually never decided to buy it until Marie Wallin was invited on the Fruity Knitting podcast. And I think Andrew and Andrea are onto me, because lately they've been interviewing, so if you don't know the Fruity Knitting podcast, Fruity Knitting podcast, they're interviewing knitwear designers and people that work in the yarn industry. I saw that they have a new episode with Black Yarns, which is again super cool. Yeah, they're on to me, because every time I have like a tendency, I really like this designer, I should really get to knit the patterns on my queue by him or her. Bam! They interview that person, like they did it with Gudrun Johnston, like the day after I bought the yarn to knit one of her sweater. They did it with Caitlin Hunter when I organized my queue and realized this is ridiculous. I have 10 patterns, not 10 patterns, but like 3 or 4 patterns on my queue that are by Caitlin Hunter. Some of them not even released. Ridiculous. And yeah, they interviewed her, and like a ridiculous amount of times that happened. Like I got really enthusiastic about a designer's work, and I sort everything out, I prepare for project, and boom, they interview her or him. And they did it with Marie Wallin recently. And she presented, of course, that book. So I said, okay, that's ridiculous. I'm just gonna get the book. I'm gonna get it, because even if I think I'm not quite yet to the level of being able to knit what I want to knit from that book, I'm being mean towards myself. I think I could. It's such a gorgeous book. So there's, I don't remember how, 12 designs in the book, and the pictures are absolutely beautiful. They shot the pictures in Shetland, and look, don't you want to just move there? Let me find the house in which they stayed in, which is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, let's all move there. The patterns are beautiful. There are a few accessories, a lot of sweaters, and I just think that if you like Feral, you cannot not have something for you in there. And even if you don't like the, Marie Wallin has a choice of color that is really earthy. You can still adapt it. It's a bit difficult, but I managed to, because I like Jamieson Spindrift, but in such projects where you need like 12 different colors for a garment, it gets really pricey. At least here, the price in France for it gets really pricey. Plus, my love for Holt's Garn Super Soft is never ending. So what I did is that I looked through the patterns that I want to make in this book, and I looked for substitutes to knit them out of Holt's Super Soft, because I have a lot of colors already in my stash, and I knew that I would only need a little bit, and I managed to do it. So if you put the time on it, if you know a little bit about color theory and color work knitting and what you should look like for color combinations, it is totally doable to adjust to the colors that you like. What I was going to show you before going on this tangent is this house. It's the house they stayed in, and I just love it. And isn't Georgia just beautiful? If I had to if I was forced to steal someone's looks, that would definitely be her. She just looks so perfect. So, I think this is my favorite design in the book. This is Yell. It's a sticked cardigan, which looks cropped, but only because it doesn't have any shaping down the back, so it's pulled up. And I just love it. I love it, and I have made the math and the plans, and I have the yarn to knit that in holds super soft, like I said. So that's my favorite. I also like this one, which is probably a little bit easier. This is per se, this is a yoked feral jumper. And there's two more that I really like. Actually, I can't decide between the two other cardigans. There's Ninian. I hope I'm not butchering the names. There's Ninian, and I really like it because it has the pockets, and I liked that button pattern in here. And then there's this one, which is a shorter cardigan. I like both of them, but that would be ridiculous to make them both, I think. And last but not least, I absolutely love the Samfree sweater, which is an all-over sweater design, and you can see what I meant by earthy colors. It's just there's not a lot of contrast in it, and I just think it's beautiful, and it's really delicate. I really like this one. She says it might be a complicated one, so there are also sweaters that are a little bit easier if you're a beginner, like this one, which is just 2 colors. I'm on the point where 2 color almost all of a sweater feral looks easy, because you know when you want to make like, I'm not going to show you the charts, but I'm expecting some headaches because oh god, the charts, like the patterns are really well written. There are instructions on the different techniques, like sticking, like how you should manage your color work technique and stuff. But when you look at the charts, it just is a bit spooky. Yeah, but I read through the Yell pattern, which is the one I want, like I have definitely a crush on, and I think I can do it, you know, with a lot of focus and time. I think it's doable. I think I'm not completely over my head on this one, especially since I don't plan on doing it immediately. I still want to knit a lot of other sweaters and colorwork sweaters that are a bit more simple before tackling onto this. But yeah, if you like feral, if you like colorwork, if you just like a pretty book, Shetland by Marie Walling is a big crush for me, and I'm really glad I decided to get it. And yeah, I admit that I have spent quite a few hours just looking at the colors and trying to see, okay, what can I do with this one for a bunch of the sweaters inside it. I feel like I'm so terrible at doing recommendations. I'm just going on tangents and being all over the place. But yeah. And a little yarn show to finish this week's episode. If you remember the Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted hashtag that was going on Instagram lately, well, I got some more goodies from that. And the first one I received was by Kralalian. I hope I'm not butchering that. So I said that I really liked BFL and that I would like BFL yarn. And she was kind enough to dye me a skein of sock yarn in her BFL base. And this is Fall Wishes. And it's, let me check, 75% BFL, 25% nylon. And it's this really, it's a bright autumnal colorway and I really like it. I really like BFL. I don't have enough of it in my stash, so I was very happy to receive it. And I can't wait to find a pretty sock pattern to make with it. And the second little gift I received in the post, I was so happy with it. You probably know Beth from Beehive Yarns. If you don't, you should totally check her Instagram. She is a knitting dyer from the UK, and I really like all of her colorways. Her dyeing style is very much my style. There is not one colorway from her that I don't like, and so I said that if anyone was silly enough to part with one of her yarns, I would take it. And Beth was generous enough and so kind to actually send me herself some of her yarn, and I received it, and oh my god, look at that. So this is a set, but it was totally unnecessary. I mean, could have sent me a mini, I would have been amazed already. This is in a Bardot base. Bardot, which is 80/20 merino nylon. And this is the colorway Rose Lichen. Crenshen, can you tell me how to pronounce this? You know, it's this plant here, lichen. Actually, I don't even know. It's the same word in French, and I don't even know how we're supposed to pronounce it in French. I think we're supposed to say lichen. I don't know. But I would like to know how to say it in English so that I can pronounce the name of that yarn properly. So yeah, Rose Lichen, and Cassis. I say Cassis. It's not easy because you don't say Cassis in English. What do you say in English? So it's not the blackberries. Ooh, this is annoying. It's not the gooseberries. Let me check. You know, it's those berries that are very black and very reddish black. I knew it. I used to be very good at fruits. Now I'm not. Black currant. Yes. So, black currant. Cassis. I don't know how I'm supposed to say it, because if you're writing it in French, what do? Do I say it in French, or do I say it with a French word with an English accent? I don't know what to do. But yeah, it's this beautiful plum. It's not completely plum. It's really blackcurrant color. It's perfect. And yeah, so it has this packs of bright lime green. I really like this. I exactly know what socks I'm going to make with this. I'm sorry if that noises. She put a cute little project progress keeper, sorry, with it. I don't remember their name though. It's one of the socks that was in Verenacor's Socktober Club. The first one. I'll show you when I'll make them, you know, in 10 months, because every time I say I'm going to make something, I don't do it right away. But yeah, Where's the other one? I am really happy with these two. So this is it for this week's episode. There will be an episode next week. It will be like my Christmas episode, I guess. And then I will be off for, like I said, 2 or 3 weeks maybe. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this week's a little all over the place as usual episode. And yeah, have a happy day, night and week, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.